Hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. So, this is a December live stream, the 2025 recap, and I just wanted to go over a few things here with you guys and just basically talk about this year and just talk about um, really just anything, just what's on my mind, issues that I have with, I guess, the current state of society and all that kind of stuff. But first, let's go ahead and get into how my 2025 has been. Honestly, now look, I've said it before. I've said this last year, and I've said that last year, 2024, was the worst year of my life, and it still probably is. Um, but I would say that 2025 is probably the most bland year of my life because nothing this year really happened. Nothing really significant in my life happened this year. And I've seen the same for a lot of people as well. I've seen um, a lot of people say that 2025 was not their year, and I've even seen some like things on Instagram that say like I guess there were some studies done about how this year has been for a lot of people, and apparently this has not been a good year for a lot of people. Apparently, for most people, this has not been their year, which shocker, right? So 2025, not that great of a year, to be honest. But I will say for music, I think 2025 has been very strong for music. Of course, we had Deftones' newest album, Private Music, which is still probably my album of the year, to be honest. And I know we had Demon Hunter's latest album, There Was a Light Here, which I'm going to be honest, that album hasn't really held up the greatest. I have not been returning to that album very much. And I kind of wish I would have waited to do my Demon Hunter updated ranking after There Was a Light Year came out because I don't think it's one of their best albums, to be honest. I mean, I don't know what my problem is with There Was a Light Here these days. I don't know if it just feels like it's more of the same. Like it just sounds like I don't know, like B-sides from War and Peace, and I don't know. I don't know what the deal is with that album, but for some reason, I felt like I enjoyed Exile more. Like I remember being more into Exile when that came out in 2022 than There Was a Light Here last September. Like I don't know what it was about the album, but I wasn't nearly as excited for it. I don't know if it has something to do with my mood or what, but I mean it's still a good album, don't get me wrong, but it just didn't hold up the greatest. That's all. And then, of course, we had Killswitch Engage's newest album, This Consequence, which I do think is a very strong metalcore album. Very strong release from Killswitch Engage. And of course, with Killswitch Engage, you always know what you're going to get from them. Um, Now, you could argue that that album is more of the same, but I don't know. I think the thing that really helps Killswitch Engage's case is it's been a while since they've released an album. I mean, their last album released in 2019, like, and Demon Hunter has had two new albums since then. So I think that's one of Demon Hunter's biggest problems right now is I think they need to step away for a while. And I've said this in a video before. I think Demon Hunter needs to take a 5 year break from releasing albums because it just seems like there's an oversaturation in their music. Like it's just too much, you know. And it doesn't help that we've been getting like these one-off singles like the past couple of years after Exile. Like the songs that were never meant to make the cut for Exile, they released later or whatever. But yeah, it's just too much material. It's just way too much material, and I think we can do without new Demon Hunter music for a while. To be honest, and I'm saying this as you guys know, the Demon Hunter guy on YouTube. I just feel like I could go without new Demon Hunter music for a while. to be honest. So there's that. But moving on to other music releases from this year, I know Bush released an album this year, which has grown on me because I remember when their album "I Beat Loneliness" came out, their newest album. I thought it was just okay. It's not as good as some of the albums that came before, which I still think is kind of true, but it's grown on me. There's some good stuff on Bush's latest album, "I Beat Loneliness." So there you have it. But yeah, as far as other music releases, Dream Theater, they put out a very strong album this year, Parasomnia, back in February of this year. Really great album, and in my opinion, probably Dream Theater's best album, probably since Octavarium, to be honest. Um, and of course, it is the first album in years with Mike Portnoy on drums, which is very cool. So can't go wrong with that. And he's a really good drummer for sure. You can definitely hear his presence on that album. And from what I've read, apparently Dream Theater is already working on another album, or they have plans to work on another album when they're done touring next year. So we might get a new Dream Theater album as early as 2027. Like, really? Like, already? Like, so yeah, I guess we'll see what happens. But hey, I'm all here for it. You know, Dream Theater, I mean, definitely one of the best bands in prog metal, I'd say. My favorite progressive metal band personally. So, um, looking forward to their next album. I know it's crazy because we just had Parasomnia earlier this year, but yeah, they're already talking about doing another album, and I think they're just excited to work with Mike Portnoy again. Um, I think they're just really excited to make music again. So that is something that's very cool. So yeah, and I know we had Testament and Soulfly release new albums this year as well, which were pretty good. Um, 3 Days Grace's latest album I did like as well. I think that album is probably their best since Life Starts Now. And I know Adam came back to the band, but both him and Matt are doing vocals. So I thought Alienation was a really great album. Honestly, that is one thing I will say about 2025's lineup of music releases is I feel like a lot of bands have been putting out their best work in a while this year. So um, there's that. I mean, I think that this year has been pretty good for music overall. I mean, would I say it's been the strongest year for music? Not necessarily, but it's definitely been the best year for music in a while. It's definitely been better than last year's lineup, which honestly, 2024's lineup of music was just awful. Like, there was just not much to look into last year, not much to get excited for. 2023 was decent as far as new music goes, but not the greatest still. But yeah, so 2025 overall was a pretty strong year for music. But before we move on to other things, I will get to your comments. Okay, so we've got Andrew here. Hello, how's it going? One of your favorite actors died this month. Who's that? Hey, what's going on, Christian Perez? Yeah, Ghost. I'm not really a fan of Ghost, to be honest with you. I've listened to them. They're not bad, but I just can't get into them. The new Killswitch Engage is definitely my second favorite album of 2025. That's cool. Yeah, can't go wrong. Right on. Hey, what's going on, Cole? What's some franchises you want to see have a video game for PS5 and Xbox? I want a Death Wish game, Dirty Harry game, Time Cop, Heat game, and Untouchables. Yeah, a time clock game would be cool. Same with the Death Wish game. That would be cool. So for me, I would actually like to see, what about an Ultraman video game? Like, is there really any Ultraman video games out there? Like, I feel like there's a lot you can do with that. I mean, I'm sure they would make it similar to how the Godzilla games are. Like, I think Godzilla Unleashed, I think it's called, where it's more of like a fighting game, like a versus game kind of thing. It probably would be something like that. Speaking of Godzilla, that is one other thing that I would like to see, is how about an open world Godzilla video game? Like, most of the game, you mostly play as Godzilla, but there's like other missions where you like play as a reporter and you're, going through like you're going through the destruction of a city or something. Like there's like little side quests and missions like that. I think that would be really cool, where you like play as a human character for maybe a few missions, for a few side quests. That would be kind of cool. But yeah, as far as other video games, yeah, I don't know. Like that is tough. I do like the time cop idea though. Hey, what's going on? Debian Freedom. Hello, Zach. How are you? I'm okay. Yeah, I'm okay too. Hope you're having a nice Christmas. I'm just watching The Night of the Juggler on Blu-ray. Absolutely brilliant film. Oh, that's cool. Very cool. Let's see. 5 movies you refuse to watch. For me, the Pomigord quadrilogy, a Serbian film. Yeah, all of those. Yeah, honestly, Cole, those would probably be my choices as well. So, oh, Peter Green, he was the in the movie The Mask with Jim Carrey. Okay, I think I might have heard about that. Um, so yeah, my top 3 favorite films this year are Commando, Ninja 2, Invasion America, and Death Stalker in Eden. Oh, New Death Stalker in Eden. I have not heard of any of those films. Interesting. Um, I don't know if I have a favorite movie of this year, to be honest. Um, I might say the new Superman movie with David Cornsweet, but see, that's not really saying a whole lot because I think that movie's even kind of overhyped. So yeah, I don't know. This year hasn't really been the strongest for new movies, though. That is one thing I will say. I do think when it comes to movies, last year was actually kind of better, I would say. Hey, what's going on, Porchman? Dragon Alex Shadow. Hey, what's going on? Yeah, an Ultraman game would be cool. Same with a Common Rider game. I think a Common Rider video game would be, actually, that might even be better than an Ultraman game. You Because there's a lot you could do with a Common Rider video game. You could make that open world. Like, I feel like there's a lot you could do with that. Hey, what's up, Anthony? Thoughts on Jean-Claude Van Damme in The Quest? Um, don't think I've seen that one, Alex. What's your favorite horror film? Underrated? My favorite underrated horror film is Screamers: The End of Days. You Witness. Okay. And Michael Mann. Okay. Um, to be honest with you, I haven't seen that many horror films, but I don't know if I'd call them underrated, but I do like the Evil Dead trilogy. That's probably my favorite horror franchise, to be honest. Which actually, I recently watched the original Evil Dead from the early '80s, and I think I thought that that was a great film. I do prefer Army of Darkness still, but I like the first Evil Dead. I still thought it was good. Um, I still need to check out the second one because for a while I was only familiar with Army of Darkness, and then I decided to check out the original Evil Dead. So I still got to watch the sequel, which I hear is the best of the trilogy. So we'll see. I don't know. Army of Darkness, I think, would be really hard to top. Um, I think for me, it's a case where it's like I think I just appreciate how fun Army of Darkness is, and that's why I enjoy it more than Evil Dead. But that's just me. The highlight for me is critical content creator of the year at this year's Game Awards. Oh, okay, cool. But yeah, I do want to get into the movies that released this year. Now, I will say that there are some films that I did miss out on. There's still some films that I have been meaning to check out for a while, but I just haven't gotten around to it. I just haven't been in the movie watching mood lately. And if I am, it's stuff that I'm already into, you know. I don't know why that is, but I still got to see Nobody 2. I've heard nothing but great things about Nobody 2. Um, and I like the first film a lot, so and I know I have some friends that said that the second one's even better, so that's pretty cool. I'll have to give that one a watch at some point. And A Working Man with Jason Statham, Jason Statham's latest film or one of his latest films. I still got to check that one out. Um, Primitive War, the new dinosaur movie, I still got to check out as well, which um, hopefully that gets a physical release, you know? So, yeah, and apparently they're already talking about doing a second movie, a sequel to that, which is pretty darn cool. So, yeah, looking forward to checking out Primitive War because apparently, from what people have been saying, it's the best dinosaur movie since the original Jurassic Park. Which I'm like, okay, yeah, that's definitely something I have to check out. That I definitely have to give that a watch. So yeah, so I will have to check that out for myself. So yeah, we will see. So let's see. So yeah, I hear you, Anthony. Zootopia 1 and 2 are good. Some of the better modern Disney movies. Zootopia 2 is one of the better movies this year. Oh wow, a modern Disney film that isn't woke trash. There you go. Yeah, that's surprising indeed. Um, it's funny you mentioned that, Cole, because I thought about making a separate video on my thoughts on Disney. So yeah, I think that could make for a pretty interesting video too. You've just been really upset about Peter Green's death. I've been watching some of his movies in his memory. Yeah, that's totally understandable, Andrew. I like The Naked Gun, The Smashing Machine, and Rental Family for this year. There was a lot of films this year. This year was the least going to the theater for me. Yeah, um, probably for me too. Although this year, it's funny because both this year and last year, I think I've only been to the theater like twice each year, this year and last year. So yeah, and 2023, I do remember going to the theater quite a bit. I know I saw Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I know I saw Fast X, which hasn't held up that well at all. Um, Ant Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, I did see in theaters, which that was kind of a waste of a theater experience, to be honest, because I don't think it's that great of a film, to be honest. I think it's easily the worst of the Ant-Man trilogy. Um, Godzilla minus one, of course, I did see in theaters that year as well. Um, oh, and the Equalizer 3 I did see in theaters that year as well, which is another film that hasn't really held up all that well, to be honest. And apparently they're talking about doing Equalizers 4 and 5, which it's like, please, no, we don't need any more Equalizer films. All right. Now going back to movies of 2025, though, Jurassic World Rebirth, I actually thought was one of the better movies of this year, which I know that film has gotten mixed to negative reviews and ratings, but I like the film. I had a good time with it. Is it the best in the Jurassic World and Jurassic Park series? No, but I still had a good time with it. And I actually saw that in theaters, so I thought it was good. I mean, does it have its issues? Yes, but I overall, the whole context of the film, I thought it was good for what it was. Definitely fun. End of Days is a very good action horror film with Arnold where he fights the devil. Yeah, I think I've heard of that film. Thoughts on Jean-Claude Van Damme and Double Team and Knockoff? I don't know if I've ever seen Knockoff, but Double Team I have seen, and I do like that film. I thought it was pretty good. Trey, dude, you're awesome. Thank you so much, Trey. That means a lot. Oh, crap. I'm so sorry. I did not mean to ban that user. Um, could one of my moderators go and unban uh Diabit, whatever his name was? Uh let's see. I will make Will a mod. Oh, Diabin Freedom. Okay, hold on. I see his name. I'm gonna go unban him real quick. Or Dobbian Gaming. Okay. Oh no, Diabin Freedom. I don't know why. I'll get him unbanned here in a moment. If I can type. Okay, I see him. There we go. All right, he's unbanned. Sorry about that, dude. All right, so moving on. Hey, what's up, Carmelo? Oh, Zach, you have a lot of DVDs. Yes, I do. And I've even traded some in recently at my local exchange. So I once had a lot more. So there you go. Pulp Fiction, I have actually never seen, surprisingly. And I know it's a classic, but yeah. Hey, what's up, Max Palmer? Watching Steelers versus Lions. Steelers up 22-17. Oh wow, interesting. See, I'm not a sports guy, so. Thoughts on Nickelodeon? Nickelodeon, I do like for the most part. I mean, I grew up with Nickelodeon, so. Screamers, I've never seen. Gremlins 1 and 2, I have not seen those films actually, but I thought about checking those out actually. So I think at some point I might check those out. Um, let's see. Steelers up 28-27 against the Lions. Steelers just scored. Oh, cool. Yeah, from my area. Rage Master, how's it going? Will you do your DVD and Blu-ray collection? I don't know. It's a lot to go over, but maybe one day I will. We'll see. So, um, top three worst video game movies you've seen. I probably have Uncharted on there. Um, other video game movies. See, I haven't seen a whole lot. Yeah, I don't know, Cole. I don't know if I can name a top three. Um, I'd really have to think about that, to be honest. I know I wasn't a fan of Uncharted, though. Um, my cousin got me a new hat for Christmas. It's my mother's birthday weekend, so the family got together. We had a great time. Oh, cool. That's cool. Have you ever played Infamous on PS3? No, I haven't. I never owned a PS3 actually. Alex. Uncharted is one of my favorite video game franchises. The movie was trash, though. Yeah, that's what I've heard. Like, apparently, even the fans of Uncharted are not a fan of the movie. Um, oh, another video game movie that I'm not a fan of. You might as well throw this whole franchise in there, but Resident Evil. I don't think there has been one good Resident Evil movie. Now, the first one I think is okay, but that's not saying a whole lot. And I even watched or I tried to watch the most recent one from 2021, Welcome to Raccoon City. I couldn't finish it. It was just incredibly boring and I just couldn't finish it. Now I think it's a cool idea to combine the stories of the first and the second game into one movie, but I just wasn't into it. But yeah, Uncharted wasn't that great. I have been enjoying Fabio's DVD and Blu-ray collection videos. Yeah, I've seen that he's been uploading those. Oh, no, it's all good. Dobby and Freedom. No, you're good. Um, you quit your job recently. I applied at McDonald's. Hey, man, you got to do what you got to do. I mean, I've quit jobs before. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. PS3 is my favorite console of all time. I would say for me, it was the PS2. And the Xbox 360 would be a close second. I started playing the Resident Evil remasters 2 and 4 on PS5. Nice. Yeah, I like the remaster of the second game. I thought that was good. My favorite Nickelodeon show, probably Drake and Josh. But of course, there's SpongeBob too, which you can't go wrong with. So I might go with either one of those. Resident Evil hasn't had a good film adaptation yet. We should have gotten the canceled George Romero Resident Evil movie from the 1990s, which sounded much better and more faithful to the games. Yeah. One job I can never work at is a fast food restaurant. Yeah, I'm the same way. I can't see myself being in that field, I guess. Most of my work experience has been in retail, so retail's no fun either. But I'd probably rather work in that than fast food. Favorite Cartoon Network show? I don't know if I have a favorite, to be honest. If you ever get a PS4 someday, as you said you thought about it, I recommend The Evil Within from 2014. Really good game that I've beaten twice. Yeah, I know. Evil Within. I have seen gameplay for it. I did think it looked good, so we'll see. But yes, I have thought about getting a PS4, which I know, I can see some haters being like, "Oh, well, why do you want a PS4 when the PS5 is out and they're already talking about doing a PS6? Are you poor or something?" Maybe I am. How is that a diss? You know? And not to mention, there's some good games on PS4, you know? And the last PlayStation console that I've owned was a PS2, because I've been all Xbox since then. So there's that. But yeah, I have thought about getting a PS4 one day, which I know I can find one for cheap. So, um, my apologies, Zach, but I have to watch the rest of Night of the Juggler and then go to bed. Good night and take care. Thank you, you too. Looking forward to more of your videos. Thank you. All right, you have a good night, Dobby and Freedom. Take care. Ice Spice is in the new SpongeBob movie. Why? She showed up to the premiere. NSC3. Oh gosh, really? Really? What do I even say about that? Ed, and Eddie. Um, that's cool. I was never allowed to watch that as a kid. Hey, what's going on, Common Rider 67? My top 5 worst movies of 2025 are War of the Worlds with Ice Cube, Minecraft, Five Nights at Freddy's 2, Until Dawn, and Captain America 4. Yeah, those are some good choices for sure. I've heard horrible things about the War of the Worlds remake. Um, Five Nights at Freddy's 2, never seen the first one. Probably will never see the second one either. Minecraft, I've seen some of, but I turned it off like halfway through. It was terrible. Yeah, Minecraft. That's another bad video game movie. Well, so there you go. Uh, Uncharted, Resident Evil, Welcome to Raccoon City specifically, and then Minecraft. Those would be, to answer your question, in my opinion, the worst, the top 3 worst video game movies. Your top 5 nu metal albums, top 5 songs from each album is dropping January 1st. That's cool, Max. So that Minecraft movie was horrible. Yeah, it was. Like I said, I watched it and like about halfway through, I'm like, yeah, I can't do this anymore. Can't take it. Until Dawn from 2015 is another great horror game for PS4 to check out if you ever get one. Yeah, Cole, I might get a, I very well might get a PS4. But yeah, I know I've heard of Until Dawn. I know I've seen gameplay for it. Um, and I thought it looked good. See, Andrew, I don't agree. I was never into Jason Momoa as an actor. I mean, is he the worst actor ever? No, but he's not really somebody that I seek out. Like when I see a movie with him, I'm not, oh my gosh, I gotta go see this. Jason Momoa's in it, you know. Now, some of those actors for me would be Jason Statham, of course, um, Jackie Chan, um, just to name a couple. Like those are some actors for me where it's like, oh, I got to see this because they're in it. Have you heard of Darman Studios? Yes, I have. I have seen some of his videos, but um, I don't know. I think some of his videos are a little. I don't know how to describe my complaints with them, but they're kind of cheesy, I guess. I mean, I don't know. Not really a big fan. But I remember back in 2021, I used to watch a lot of those kind of videos back in the day. I was really into them, but they just kind of dropped off for me. Jason Momoa is an overrated actor. Yes, he is. As Fabio and Matt call him, he's Jason Mamma Mia. Yeah, yeah, they have called him that. Movies I have to see with specific actors like Zendaya. See, it's the opposite for me. If I see she's in something, I don't want to see it, unless it's Spider Man, of course. Um, Jim Carrey, that's fair. I can understand Jim Carrey, even though I think he's also a bit overrated. Is he humorous? Is he funny? Yes, but I don't know. Um, but he's not bad though. I can understand why you would say Jim Carrey though, and Peter Green. Yeah, who may rest in peace, of course. Which we will get into the deaths of this year too. We'll go there, and we'll even go into more controversial, if I can speak, ground with one of the individuals who have passed away this year, and you probably already know who that is. So, yeah, you love Zendaya. To each their own. Cato Lee Roberts and Brendan Schroeder are back with Darman. I don't even know who they are, but that's cool. Been playing a lot of Fortnite lately. My main skin I play as is Rain. I've been having a blast with the recent Fortnite season. Oh, that's cool, Max. Yeah, Fortnite I can never get into. Hey, what's up, J Dog? RIP to Rob Reiner. Yes, indeed. There's a stupid scene in the Until Dawn movie where a person dies from water. So stupid. Yeah, that is really dumb. I haven't heard many good things about that film, the Until Dawn movie. The Aquaman movies I never got into, Andrew. But yeah, so the movies that released this year in 2025 overall, like I said, it's kind of been a meh year for movies overall. But like I said, there's still some films that I do have to check out, which I might get to maybe next year. So with that being said, I might not do an end of the year list for movies this year. I know I did. I think I did in 2022, 2023, and 2024, if I'm not mistaken, but I haven't done one this year. Actually, I don't know if I've done one for 2022 now that I think about it. But I know I did one for 2023 and I know I did one last year. So, yeah, but I might not do one this year because I just haven't seen enough. I haven't seen enough films that came out this year, and this year's almost over. So, there's that. I'm excited for Spider-Man Brand New Day. Yeah, I'm kind of excited for it too. Especially with all this talk of it having more practical effects, and apparently Scorpion's going to be the villain in it. So yeah, there's a lot to look forward to with the film. Um, Even though I'm not the biggest Tom Holland is Spider-Man fan, I'm kind of looking forward to it. So we'll see what they do. Would you want to do a stream on my channel in about 90 minutes from now? It's optional. Yeah, I might. I might join. Um, Mark Ruffalo. Oh yeah, yeah. I'm not a fan of Mark Ruffalo. I mean, he was okay in Collateral, but that's really about it. Because I'm not a fan of him as Hulk, to be honest. Yeah, when it comes to actors I dislike, he would definitely be up there. Video games and movies are nerd culture. Yes and no. It definitely used to be. That is one thing I will say is I feel like when it comes to media, like entertainment, a lot of that has become a lot more socially acceptable because I am old enough to remember when those things, especially video games, were like, oh, that's what, all the bums do. All they do is play games all day. And, movies to an extent, I think it depends on what movies we're talking about here. But I guess just entertainment, like a lot of that stuff has just become a lot more socially acceptable. And I think a lot of that has to do with the direction that a lot of these things have been going in and the audiences that they're directed towards. Like, because I think before, like Call of Duty, for instance, Call of Duty was definitely back in the day more directed towards men. Like, that was their key audience, and, you know, I have to say that is when Call of Duty was better, to be honest. And I'm not saying that because, oh, back when, but you see my point. Like, that's Call of Duty was better, and everyone can universally agree. Like, there was that golden age of Call of Duty, um, and and of course Halo, and just gaming as a whole. Like, gaming has become like so universally. I don't know how to describe it, but it's like it's for everybody now. It's crazy how it works. Um, and that's one thing you will notice about the Marvel movies too. That's one of the big things that I've noticed because I think it's so funny how a lot of these people, they have never cared for superheroes a day in their life. They were like, and we're talking like people my age, like people that are, I guess, more left leaning or, basically SJW. And granted, we're talking people around my age. Um, they've never cared about superheroes a day in their life. In the 2000s, they've probably never watched any of the Raimi Spider-Man movies. They've probably never watched any of the Blade movies. They've probably never watched any of the X-Men movies. But when the MCU came around, that's when, a lot of people started paying attention, because I've even seen some people on social media say, "Yeah, I was never a Spider-Man fan. Like I was never into the movies until Tom Holland." I'm like, "Really?" Because he's the reason why I jumped ship from the Spider-Man movies. So yeah. Now I kind of jumped ship when Andrew Garfield became Spider-Man, but I even like Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man more than Tom Holland. So there you go. You know, I think it has a lot to do with when Disney took over Marvel. I think that has a lot to do with it too, to be honest. Expect a Tom Holland Spider-Man movie ranking when Brand New Day comes out. Yeah, for sure. I would say No Way Home is by far the best, but that's really only because you have the OGs come back to that movie. you know, all the villains, all the other two Spider-Man. It just I just feel like without them, the movie would be nothing. Hip hop and rap. Good for you, Max. Hey, what's up, Cookie the Wheat Wolf? Ah, oh, crap. Did it again. All right, give me a second, guys. I'm gonna go unblock Cookie the Wheat Wolf because for whatever reason, my fingers don't want to cooperate. Accidentally blocking people. Can't even find their channel. Just give me 1 second, guys. Is it this person? Sorry, guys, just give me a second. Was their name Cookie the Wheat? What was their name? Yeah, Cookie the Wheat. Yeah, I can't find them. I know Robert knows who this person is. I might have to get a hold of him so that because I'm not finding their channel at all. Dang it. Yeah, my apologies, Cookie the Wheat Wolf. I can't find their channel though. The only Cookie the Wheat Wolf I see is one with 349 subs, but I don't think that's them. If one of my mods wants to go and find this Cookie the Wheat Wolf and unban them, that would be greatly appreciated. I will make Cole a mod. Yeah, I can't find their channel, guys. If one of you can go look, find this person. I think they used to go by Livy. I don't know why they changed their name, but that's what's making it hard to find them. Um, if you're still watching Cookie the Wheat Wolf, maybe just go on a different account and comment for now, and we will get this sorted out soon. All right. But I would just say for right now, maybe just use a different account. The only upcoming video games I'm excited for are 007 First Light, Wolverine, Resident Evil 9. I'm definitely looking forward to that. Silent Hill, Townfall, Silent Hill 1 remake, and Marvel Spider-Man 3. That's about it. Yeah, the new James Bond game does look pretty good. Resident Evil 9, of course, I am looking forward to. Andrew Garfield is the worst Spider-Man in your opinion? I do not agree, but to each their own. My favorite would have to be Tobey Maguire, of course. Thoughts on the War of the Worlds remake? The 2005 one. I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. I love the new All That Remains album. Definitely made my end of the year list. See, I would say that I liked the new All That Remains album, but didn't love it though. I wasn't the hugest fan of it. Worst movie of the 2020s? We will be here all day trying to figure out which one that is because there's been so many terrible movies this decade so far. Absolutely terrible movies. I mean, I would say by far, it's definitely been the worst decade of movies of my lifetime. That much I'll say. But Yeah, I don't know. Now, the 2010s era of movies wasn't the greatest either, but there's been some good stuff to come out last decade in the 2010s. Only game I'm excited for is GTA 6. Yeah, fair enough. And there I go again. Hold on. Now I know that this won't be a problem. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Cole, try typing something. I don't know why I keep doing this. It's not telling me that I it's not telling me that I can unhide the user, so is he even blocked? Okay. Never mind. I figured it out. I see you, Cole. Sorry about that. Just give me 1 second so I can make you mod again. Okay. I'm pretty sure I made Cole a mod again. The 2023 Flash was horrible. The actor sucks. Yeah. Yeah, I haven't seen it, but I've heard terrible things about it. Gosh, I gotta get me like a I gotta get me like another moderator or something because I apparently my fingers don't want to cooperate. I keep accidentally hitting ban. You, I don't know. StreamYard's I don't know if it's the way they have this set up where like the ban user is too close to the show on stage button or what. But Cool says I'm gonna head out and start my stream in 1 hour from now. Okay. I might join you soon. Um, Now before we go any further, I do want to talk about the deaths of this year. One of the most obvious ones would be Ozzy Osbourne. Um, this is definitely the one, or one of the ones that hit me the most this year when we're talking celebrity deaths of 2025. I mean, honestly, I'm surprised that Ozzy lived as long as he did, with all that he's been through and everything. And he's, of course, known as the godfather of metal. And he was the original singer of Black Sabbath. So, yeah, rest in peace to Ozzy for sure. Napoleon Dynamite is also one of the worst movies I've ever seen. I don't agree. Man, there's a lot that you and I don't agree on, Andrew. I like Napoleon Dynamite. I think it's a funny movie. Um, but yeah, Ozzy will be missed. Hulk Hogan, I know, died this year. I mean, I'm not a Hulk Hogan fan personally. I'm not into like I don't know if it was wrestling. Was it wrestling that he did? Like or boxing. Like I'm not into like WWE stuff. I've never been into that. You know, I like martial arts, but not that kind of martial art. You know, um, and I think he wasn't he in Rocky 3? And I thought he was good in that. So yeah, so rest in peace to Hulk Hogan. And like somebody mentioned earlier, I forget who. My apologies, Rob Reiner. May he rest in peace as well. Um, and then of course Charlie Kirk, which I know a lot of the SJWs, they're secretly celebrating it, but we all know this. But it's sad. It really is sad. Hey, we got Deftones in common. That's true. Yeah, we're both big fans of Deftones. I know Ozzy was 76 and he was nearing the end of his life, but I still can't believe he's gone. Yeah, that's true, Max. Both Priscilla Pointer and June Lockhart lived to be 100 years old. Yeah, I think I might have heard about that. Wasn't there some guy that recently turned 100? But yeah, the whole Charlie Kirk situation, man, it's just sad, honestly. I don't know why people just can't let the man rest, you know? Like, because there's people that say, oh, I'm glad he's dead because he spreaded this nonsense and that nonsense. Well, what if I said that about you? What if I said that the same thing should happen to you because you're an SJW that is obsessed with all these social issues? What if I said that about you? What if I sat here and said you don't deserve life because of your thoughts and beliefs and the things that you spew out? How would you like it? But see, they would say that it's different for them because they're the side of compassion. When no, you're not at all. Because where's your compassion for anyone that doesn't agree with you? It's all just a bunch of baloney. It's a bunch of foolishness. So the whole thing about Charlie Kirk's death, it just makes me sick, to be honest. Like, again, just can you people let the man rest already? So I know that happened this year. Um, and speaking of SJWs, I know recently somebody asked me, I don't remember their name, but somebody commented on a community post just randomly asking me about the whole exposure thing on me that Sean did, Monolith. And I was just like, why am I getting asked about this now? That whole thing that happened, that was like back in September. We're in December now. It's like, why are you asking me about it now? It just seemed kind of weird to me, you know. But either way, it doesn't really matter. Steelers win 29-24. Let's go. All right. Good stuff. Trump supporters were saying rude things about Rob Reiner on Twitter. I think that was actually Trump himself, which, yes, he was in the wrong for that, for sure. Absolutely. But yeah, when it comes to when it comes to the political spectrum, I think both sides are they're trash. I mean, do I think one side is worse than the other? Yes, but as it stands, I think both sides are bad. You know, I think the two party system is really what I think is really what hurt this country. You know, because I know people might say, well, it's this thing, it's that thing, it's because of people like you, it's because of this, it's because, well, but in reality, it's just the two party system is what's wrong. But yeah, and that's why everything's just so divided and everything. I mean, and the thing is, it never used to be like that though. You know, I would hear stories about how back in the early 2000s you could put aside your political differences and still be friends with one another. You really can't do that anymore. You really can't. You know, and like I said earlier, I think one side's worse than the other, and I also think that one side is more guilty of not knowing how to agree to disagree than the other. They have more of a problem with that for some reason. It's like, why do you care if somebody doesn't think like you? You know, if somebody, even if your theory about like how people on the other side, on the opposition, even if you do have these thoughts, well, they're discriminatory. They hate these people. They hate that those people. They don't like this group of people. They don't like them. They don't like this, and yada yada yada. Even if your theory on that was true, what can you do about it? You know, not everybody's brain is wired the same, you know, to like the same things, to like the same uh or support the same organizations, and not everybody views the world the same way you do is basically the best way to sum it up. And people are, they just don't want to accept that. They don't want to realize that. You know, it's, oh well, you don't believe what I believe, I'm going to call your workplace and ruin your career, and I'm going to expose you, and I'm going to do this and that. I'm going to do everything you can so that you your life is ruined. Let me tell you something. The most dangerous man on earth is a man that has nothing left to lose. So all these piece of garbage SJWs, you might push someone over the edge a little too far, and it might end bad for you. Just saying. And then when it happens, you'll say, "Oh my god, the opposite side, oh my gosh. Ugh, they're so violent, they're so extreme." Because you pushed them to that point, you morons. It's not rocket science, you know? What does SJW mean? Social justice warrior. But yeah, um, it's just exhausting, though. It's very exhausting. Now, again, I have my issues with both sides, but this is stuff that I see with one side more than the other. And I'd be lying if I didn't say that. You know, I'd be lying if I said, yeah, both are equally as bad, because that's not true. But yeah, I don't know. It's like, just accept that not everyone's going to think the same way you do. Like, I don't know why that's so difficult to comprehend, you know? And like I said earlier, with the individual that I brought up not that long ago, that's been obsessed with me for years, for almost a decade, for most of this channel's life, you know? Like, most of my time on YouTube has been trying to deal with this individual, this obsessed individual. you know? Because if you think about it, I started YouTube back in 2014. I mean, and I think I met him around late 2016. So yeah, most of this channel's life I've been dealing with this individual. It's just crazy. But I like, and I've even done a live stream with Weston, John Weston, on this on his channel, just talking about this. It's like I don't know what this guy's deal is with me. Like all these years later, like what are you trying to do? I mean, I think I have my ideas, you know, and it has a lot to do with the things that I said earlier, but it's like I don't lean the way you think I do, you know? And I've even said that. I've even said like, "Oh, I don't agree with either side overall," you know? Now, maybe back in the day I did, maybe back when I did meet this individual I did, but why all these years later still get on my case about it? You know, even though I don't lean that way anymore, you know? It doesn't make sense. But yeah, I had to rant about that because of all the crap that I've been seeing online and just it's just very disrespectful like how people are. Again, going back to uh Charlie's passing. I mean, and that's the main point I wanted to get to here is like that is one of the people we've lost this year. And people they just can't let the man rest, you know. They just got to be all disrespectful and even towards his widowed wife like now I know there's some theories surrounding her whether or not that's true I don't know I just don't care enough because to be honest with you guys I kind of just checked out on politics in general like I just don't care enough you know but that's all I'll say about that. Hey, what's up, Livy? I do want to apologize for accidentally banning the other account. We'll get that situated soon. What's the worst movie you've ever seen? Worst movie I've ever seen. Probably X from 2022. That movie was it I mean, it wasn't bad in the sense of like the way that it was filmed or like the way it was directed or anything like that. It's just a very painful movie to watch. Like it's just I just couldn't I mean, I've watched the whole thing surprisingly, but um I just wasn't into it at all. Like it was horrible. And I think 2022, that was the year that I watched the most movies for some reason. Thoughts on next year. I will get into my thoughts on next year whenever I get to my closing thoughts. What account? Were you not the Cookie Wheat Wolf or whatever that account was? Was that not your account? The X movie with Jenna Ortega. Yeah, I think she was in it. I could be wrong though. Oh crap, that wasn't you? I don't know who that was then. Okay, well either way, if you're still watching Wheat Wolf, my apologies. Yeah, I thought that that was you, Livy. Dang. Okay then. Oh well, it is what it is. If they ever want to comment again, They could just leave a comment on a different account. This is my account. Okay. Cookie Wheat Wolf has the same profile picture as Livy. Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's why I thought it was Livy, because they had the exact same profile picture. That's why I thought it was Livy. Oh, that was a fake account? Well, maybe 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 my accidental usage of banning it actually came to use for once. If you're right about that. Hey, what's up, Ridge? But yeah, see, but like I said, like people don't know how to be civil with each other anymore, and you know, put aside their differences, and but then people say, well, I don't know how I could put my I don't know how we could put our differences aside when you have such bigoted views. It's like you're the one that's saying these things, not me. Like it's like it's so funny how they always claim like you hate these groups of people, you hate those groups of people, you hate that group of people, but the only one who's saying this is you. Unless I hear someone explicitly say, "Yes, I hate so and so." Unless somebody says that, I don't want to hear it. Because people take things out of context and twist people's words around all the time that you never really know unless somebody actually says it. But that's why I miss how things used to be, like back in the like again back in the 2000s. Like people could disagree politically and still be friends, but you can't do that anymore. Like it's like it's nearly impossible now. What's your favorite pizza topping or restaurant? My favorite pizza topping is probably tomatoes and green pepper. Restaurant. Mm, what do you mean? A pizza restaurant? You mean? Like, because I know you're on the topic of pizza there. But yeah, and I've made it clear on this channel before that, like, you know, that everybody's welcomed. Like I don't care who you are, but according to some people who want to put words in my mouth, that's just not the case. That's not really who I am, because apparently these certain people they think they know me better than I know myself, even though they've never met me in person, or they've uh, never really had a conversation with me, whether that is through video or text or whatever. Just people like the individual I mentioned earlier thinks he knows it all. He thinks he knows everything there is to know about Zach D. Sure, there is. Sure, let's go with that. No, I hear you, Rage Master. It is sad. Hey, what's up, Kyle Keith? How has everything been lately? Things have been okay, I guess. Can't really complain too much. Yeah, Papa John's is all right. Um, hmm. But yeah, I'm trying to think what else. Oh, that's right. I do want to get into my deal with 2026, like, and the stuff that I have planned and the things that I want to do. So for 2026, I do want to start working on my new film. I have talked with somebody, and we may start filming in January, the new film. So as soon as January, we might start filming, which is exciting. And next year, you probably will know what the next film is. I will say that. So in 2026, you probably will know what the next film is, which I'm very excited to announce it and work on it and things like that, because I know it's been a long time coming. Um, so if we start filming in January for a release date, maybe the end of next year, like maybe like the fall of 2026 or something, is maybe when you could see the next film from me happen and come out. So, and there is one other thing that I do want to say when it comes to my next project is it is going to be a movie. It's not going to be a series because a lot of you may not know this, but I am done with series. So that it's not going to be new new title part 1, new title part 2, new title part 3. It's not going to be like that anymore. It's just going to be a full length. Now, I don't know how long, the new film will be. It could be an hour, it could be less than an hour. I don't know. I would probably say less than an hour, to be honest, but because they're short films. Um, so there's that. But yeah, I do have some plans for next year. As I've said earlier, I thought about getting a PS4. I might get a PS4 in 2026 as well. Um, yeah, I mean, there's other things too I want to be able to do. So I guess it's one of those things that it's just like we'll see what happens. We'll play it by ear. Dang, this year went fast. Yeah, it kind of did. It's weird because this year it felt quick, but it felt kind of long at the same time. And again, I think that has a lot to do with the fact that this year just felt so bland. You know what I mean? But yeah, um, I think that's about all I wanted to say. I mean, I feel like I've covered everything I wanted to talk about in terms of like the recap of 2025. Um, oh, one other thing too that I did want to mention. I know this is a little more personal as well, but um, this year I've actually seeked therapy for the first time, so that's interesting. um, it's probably been long overdue, but better late than never, of course. So, and that's been kind of helping. It's my therapist has been very nice and everything. He's a nice dude, um, so that's cool. But yeah, um, like I said, it's kind of been long overdue. So that's one of the things that I did this year was finally seek out a therapist. Um, because just because of all the crap that's been going on ever since my mom passed, and it's been rough. It really has been. But I'm doing my best to make progress though. 2025 in my opinion was kind of boring. Yeah, it was kind of boring now that you mention it. planning to see a therapy soon. Okay, that's cool, Rage Master. Yeah, I mean, definitely do what you got to do. If you think that that will work for you, definitely go for it. Um, but yeah, trying to think if there's anything else that I needed to cover. Um, yeah, so the movies this year, not that many great movies, but there's been some gems, I guess, here and there. Um, trying to think. And then I went over the music. Um, yeah, I mean, I could talk about video games too, but what is there to say about the video games this year? I mean, I know Black Ops 7 sucks. um, a lot of people say that that's like the worst Call of Duty game or one of the worst, which, yeah, especially the campaign. I do think it probably has the worst COD campaign, to be honest. And yeah, I mean, I've heard decent things about Battlefield 6. I mean, I've heard the campaign wasn't that good, but the multiplayer is fun from what people have been saying. So, yeah, so I don't know. Gaming this year, I don't know. I think I don't think we've really had a good year for gaming in a while, and that's another reason why like I'd rather invest in just a PS4 than a PlayStation 5 because it's like honestly like what games would I get for it? Like just a bunch of garbage. Like there's just not that many good modern games anymore. You know. What's my opinion on Chat GPT? Neutral. I'll just say that. Do you like Panda Express? Kind of. I don't mind some of their stuff. I don't eat there a lot, but yeah, they're not bad. Um oh yeah, well with Andrew's previous question about my favorite restaurant, I don't know. I might say Sheets. I don't know if Sheets would count, but yeah. I don't know. I do like Red Robin too. Who else do I like? Um, let's see, restaurants. Panera Bread's pretty good too. See, it's tough for me because I'm a vegetarian. Actually, I might officially be vegan now, to be honest. That is one thing that I do want to say about this year as well. Is for a while there, I was just vegetarian, but I think now I'm actually a vegan. So that's pretty cool. And with that said, yes, I have been to KFC, but it's been a bit. But yeah, if there's anything anyone else would like to say before I wrap up here, now would be the time. Thoughts on Go Animate? Don't really have much thoughts since I've never heard of it. um, but yeah, 2025 overall, not that great of a year. Not that great. I mean, I still think last year was worse, but this year was still pretty bad. And I know a lot of people would say the same thing. Hopefully 2026 will be better though. I can't afford to do another bad year, guys. I really can't. Because these last what 3 years now, all like 2023, 2024, 2025 feel like they kind of feel like the trilogy of like the worst years of my life, basically. So I really hope 2026 is a good year. Please, for the love of God, let 2026 be a good year. Seriously, I can't afford to do another bad year. What's your opinion on RoboCop from 1987, Peter Weller? I like that movie. That's a great film. I have that on DVD actually, right here. There it is. RoboCop. Great movie. Definitely a classic. But yes, at some point, like when it comes to like the DVDs, the physical media, I do eventually want to get the other RoboCop films. 2026, 2006 would be 20 years ago. That's right. You are precisely right on that. Opinion on Superman. The new Superman movie. I liked it. I thought it was good. I mean, do I think it's a bit overhyped? Yes, but I liked it for what it was. I thought it was a fun movie. I'd still say the best Superman movie is the original Christopher Reeve one. 2006 was my least favorite year when it comes to my personal life. Really? Why's that? Okay, yeah. Yeah, I like the movie. I thought it was good. I think when it comes to the 2000s decade, like if I had to choose which year in the 2000s decade I would say is my least favorite, probably either 2007 or 2008 would be my one of those years would be my least favorite when we're talking the 2000s decade. It would definitely be one of those years. But I think all the other years have been fine for me. I mean, granted, I was really young then, but still. Oh god, Toy Story 5 is coming out, not surprised. Yeah, we don't need any more Toy Story movies. We really don't. They should have wrapped it up at 3. And I know a lot of people say the same thing. It's sad because I do have some nostalgia for that franchise. I mean, obviously, the first 2 movies especially, like I've grown up with those, so yeah. Toy Story 4 wasn't good. No, it wasn't. In fact, that's like really the only bad movie in the Toy Story franchise. That's like the only one I didn't like. 2006, I was in special education classes. Well, I was too, Rage Master, because I had because of my ADHD, I had trouble paying attention. So that's part of the reason why when I was in elementary school, I was in the special classes. But no, I get it. All through high school, and I have to say, late 2000s sucked. Yeah, it did. Yeah, the late 2000s, that wasn't a good time for me either, to be honest. I mean, again, 2009 I thought was okay for me. I mean, granted I was 13, but still. Um, But as it stands, the late 2000s, I would say the 2010s, especially the early 2010s, is that was a lot better in some ways. But yeah, we all have our moments though. We all have our moments where, we have good years, we have bad years. It's just a part of life. But for me, I would say my last good year was 2022, you know? But hopefully 2026 will be another year like it, but we'll see. And maybe even better. Hopefully, right? 2014, that was a good year for me. Um, yeah, 2014 was pretty good for me. I had fun that year. No kidding. I'm autistic, and that's why I was in special education. I think most autistic people can't handle regular ed classes. No, I don't think they can either. They can't handle school exam, aka graduation test. Yeah, yeah, that's true, Rage Master. That's probably true. What are you looking forward to in 2026? Well, as I've said earlier, I may start working on my new film in January, starting in January, and hopefully have the film out by later in the year. And um as far as like movies, Godzilla Minus Zero I think comes out later next year as well, so I'm definitely looking forward to that. Spider-Man Brand New Day, which I know Andrew brought up earlier, I am kind of looking forward to that. Um yeah, I'll have to look at a list of movies that are coming out next year, uh, or this upcoming year, because I know next year is only around the corner. But yeah, we'll see. As far as albums go, new music, the new Megadeth album, I did like the singles, especially Tipping Point. The other singles I think are just okay, in my opinion. And apparently, Overkill is putting out a new album for next year as well, so that's pretty cool. Um, Oh, and Breaking Benjamin, supposedly Breaking Benjamin is going to finally put out a new album in 2026, but we'll see what happens. Hopefully, Anthrax also drops a new album as well, so we'll see. But yeah, 2026 I think is shaping up to be a even a good year for music too. No, I understand Rage Master, but um I guess sometimes you just gotta work with it, because you might have more unique traits than others, And I mean, it's all about perspective, I guess, and how you look at it. All the 1980s and 1990s were the greatest years of all time. I love those decades. I definitely agree on the 1990s. The 1980s, kind of, even though I wasn't alive at that time. Um, I could understand that for sure, though. See, for me, it would be the 1990s and the 2000s. Um, but the 80s was cool. Now, when we're talking movies, that's tough because I think from the 1980s, 1990s, and early 2000s, like that span of time, like I think that to me is was when the best movies, like that was the best decade of movies, I think. like from probably from like, I don't know, early to mid 80s to the early 2000s. Cinema from that point was just at its best, I think. But there's stuff from the 60s and 70s that I do like as well. I hope Breaking Benjamin will put out a new album in 2026. Yeah, we all hope that. Apparently it is going to happen, but only time will tell. Masters of the Universe. Oh, that comes out in 2026. That's cool. You also love the 2000s? Cool. I think I have heard of that, but I don't know much about it. But yeah, I will probably be wrapping up here in a bit. So I think that's about everything I wanted to cover here for this stream. So I do want to say that if I accidentally banned you before, I do apologize. Sorry about that. It happens. um, but I hope that you guys had a good time. Um, it's been a bit since I've done a live stream, and I know it's been almost a week since my last video too. So I will put out some new videos probably before Christmas. I do have a top 5 video I want to do. It's actually top 5 thrash metal bands, and I thought about doing a video of my thoughts on Disney too. I don't know which one will come out first, but yeah. And I also thought about doing a special video where I go over heavy metal channels that I respect, or like maybe like a top 10 metal content creators list or something like that. I might do something like that. I think that would be kind of fun. So it would kind of be like a shout out video too. So there's that. Good stream. Thank you, Livy. I like the early 2000s. At least I was in half regular ed and half special ed. Yeah, I was the same way, Rage Master. Like I said, I struggled with ADHD, and I still do, to be honest. So that's part of the reason why I was in those classes. But yeah, I even thought about doing a worst YouTubers I have ever encountered list, because I know that there's some people that have done that, but I think part of the reason why I haven't was because I'm not really about drama, to be honest. I don't want to start drama or anything, but I mean, it's not really a drama video per se. It's more of just like me expressing my thoughts of why I don't like these YouTubers or these people that I've met, you know. I mean, that's really all that it is, but it's something that I'll have to think about. But either way, um, yeah, I guess I'll go ahead and wrap it all up here. So, thank you guys for joining the stream. Thanks for your questions, your comments, all that good stuff. Um, like I said, it's been a while since I've done one of these, so I don't know when I'll do a stream again, but I guess only time will tell. But this most likely will be my last stream of 2025. So, um, hopefully, you all have a good rest of the year. And yeah, so that's just about it. So thanks so much. Take care.